Are secret societies holding secrets to the universe? What makes a cult so dangerous? Are there secrets to our world that are being held hostage by religious denominations? These are questions we should be asking, because they could lead us into forgotten knowledge and take away the preconditioning we seem to endure in today's complicated world. So, do the answers to today's supernatural and paranormal experiences lie within the past, hidden in secrets, lies, and unquestionable following? Let's dive into this Patreon-exclusive podcast season of Secret Societies, hosted by Stories in the Cemetery's Nick Knight and Josh Amen.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first season of the Stories in the Cemetery's brand new podcast. Every season that Josh and I put together, we are going to come up with a new theme. Some of our favorite podcasts love doing side things like this, and we thought it would be a great idea because Josh and I love diving into stuff and really learning about something new, because we feel the paranormal field should be a constant learning experience. So this and these are going to be ad free. Like, there will be no commercials during this. So these episodes will be available through Patreon. And Josh will get into the tiers of what that will look like. But this episode, we're going to throw it out there just so you guys get a gist of what this is going to look like. And then we're going to kind of go over a basic gist of what the theme of this season will actually be. So we're going to do secret societies this season. And these episodes, they're going to get pretty wild and crazy because Josh and I are deep diving into some of this shit, guys. There's a lot here. And you're wondering, what does this mean for the paranormal? And that's probably exactly why we're going to be deep diving as far as we're going to go, because I feel like secret societies and cults and orders and all of the things actually have an influence, and they know shit we don't. And that's part of the reason why when Josh brought up this topic, I'm like, yeah, we need to do a whole year worth of these episodes. And he agreed. So, Josh, talk to us about what the Patreon is going to look like for, people getting a hold of future episodes.
So the Patreon is going to be 3 tiers. We have a $5 tier, which is just your normal ghost hunter. And that is just the extra podcast. So you get the podcast and that's it. The $10 tier is the paranormal researcher. And this is where things start to get a little more interesting. You get the podcast, plus you get merch that we will send out to you. So it does ask you for an email address so that we can contact you and start figuring that stuff out. And then we have the Secret Society tier at $15, which gives you access to a whole bunch of other stuff. So now, not only do you get this podcast and you get the merch, but you get to talk to us. So you get to join the SITSI Secret Society group chat, where you can ask us questions directly, and you can also give your opinion, and we will look into and consider your suggestion for an episode or a season or something we're going to look into at a future date. So lots of stuff that is, going to be in there. We're going to be putting in bonus content. We have some really cool stuff coming for you guys in the Patreon. So, and as Patreon grows, we're going to ramp up what else we can include in some of these tiers. And
I think we can almost release what we just talked about with those watch parties. I think that's pretty exciting stuff. I mean, it's not set in stone yet. But Josh had suggested that we put the SITSI scoring system as kind of like a watch party for your favorite paranormal TV shows. And you guys will get to see how, and the investigations that you guys all love to watch, how they actually get scored and how haunted your favorite episodes actually are. So that'll probably be in one of that mid to higher tier for that. But of course, we're not set in stone with this idea yet. We really need to dive into it. But I think it's a great idea. So, Josh, you're just chock full of ideas. These past few months, man, you've been just throwing them out there left and right. And here we are going to Patreon. Look at you go.
Yeah, well, we're trying to live the dream, but we got to make this the dream first.
Yeah, that's very true. As much as of a dream as it is to ghost hunt every day, or as every day possible, like I do, there are still the caveats out there to continue to do more for the field and to, I guess, give back to the community. It's really about like what does the Sitsi score actually look like? With other, TV shows, other tours. I made some TikTok videos about that. But this
Yeah.
is the kind of content that we want to throw back at you guys, for becoming Patreon members, and this is going to be an exclusive side podcast. We have a new recording studio now, as far as like where we record, and we're learning more about the live stream and things like that. So we're gonna continue, like Josh said, like ramping it up for the Patreon members only. So some cool merch will come your way once you hit those certain tiers. Josh, what's the website for them to check out the Patreon directly?
So it is www.patreon.com/C/stories in the cemetery.
Yes, that's exactly what I have. Josh apparently needs reading glasses to read his screen.
It's really small text, and my computer sits pretty far away from me.
So, folks, there won't be special guests on this. We're going to keep that in the regular Stories in a Cemetery podcast. And this will be directly secret societies, me and Josh talking back and forth. And once we get, those live chatters, we might be able to, add those in there to kind of see what their questions were and that kind of thing once you reach those certain tiers. So enough about Patreon. We'll mention it again probably at the end of the show. But Josh, like, how do we want to approach this very first episode of season 1 of Secret Societies? Like, I think it should be pretty blanketed.
So it is going to be very blanketed. And I forgot one other feature. Sorry, real quick.
Oh.
Each tier does have member shoutouts.
Okay. There you have it, folks.
That'll be something that we'll continue to do as long as Patreon allows it. I know there's a little bit of chatter out there, but as far as we can tell, we should be able to give member shoutouts. So episode 1 for this side podcast, which at some point is going to get a name. So maybe people start throwing names at us. Maybe they can help us. We're going to do secret societies versus cults versus religion. So we're going to be comparing some stuff back and forth on what makes a secret society,
Sure.
what does technically count as a secret society, and what our opinions are about that. We're also going to touch on a few of the secret societies we will be covering for this season. So you guys will kind of get an idea of where we're going and who we're going to be talking about. Some of them you'll know and some of them you won't. So
yeah, there's some really weird shit out there, man. Like, I started researching this today, and guys, I'm not gonna lie, like, it is a rabbit hole, like, and it doesn't end. Like, there are so many different, like I said, orders, cults, religions, secret societies, like, and we're gonna talk about the definition of all of these things to kind of really narrow it down. And Josh and I even bantered a little bit when we came up with this idea of like, is that one a cult or is it a secret society? And there's a lot of websites that kind of go through that as well. So I think it really is. There's qualifications that I found. So I'm sure I'll cover those, at some point in the next, first couple of episodes to make sure we're narrowing it down. Like, it says secret society, but it really falls underneath the cult category. They're doing some like dangerous, vicious stuff. Like, do we really want to call that secret?
And you know what? Some of them I think might even take it a step further, because I was talking to Vanessa about this, and we were talking about the same group that we had talked about, and we're like, that doesn't make sense. How could they possibly count as a secret society when they're more of a cult? And I was telling her about this, and she's like, actually, at that point, she's like, I would consider it a terrorist group.
Yeah, and some of them have been. And if you haven't like picked up on who we're talking about at this point, it's the KKK. This is the kind of shit that we're going to be bantering about, and it's a no holds barred. Like, this is Patreon only. I don't know if Patreon has rules against this kind of stuff, but I mean, we're gonna put it out there. It's an opinionated podcast, and not to mention informative. Josh and I do the research before we truly dive in. But that's kind of like the gist of how I wanted to start this episode.
Mhm.
So I guess Josh, like, where do you want to take this from here? Because you've done more research for this episode than I have.
Well, in general, I just kind of want to give a brief estimation here. So, cults are categorized by controlling leadership, isolation of its members, manipulation, and unquestioning obedience, as well as exploitation. The secret society is usually more concerned with specific details within ranks being kept secret. So, this is more like you don't know about their rituals and their initiation process, but they are usually a little more transparent where you can visit these places. You can, join, you can walk the halls, you can like one of the episodes we're going to be doing at some point this season is Freemasons. And I've been inside of one of like the Freemason like meeting places. So,
Yeah.
and when we do that episode, like there'll be some extra bonus content in there for everybody, where they'll be able to see some of all that. So, and that's more of what makes it a secret society, versus like I can't go waltzing into a KKK building and be like, "Hey guys, how you doing?"
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, that's what makes them, in my mind, what categorizes them as a cult. Even though if you look online, it does come up as secret society. So, but
Yeah.
secret
I do
societies in
find
my
it.
mind, they're more, there's an intellect there, you know? And that's
Well, they're
part of what
usually
I
after some
think.
type of knowledge. Like that's
Yeah,
something I found very interesting, is they were the only one out of all of these categories that seeks knowledge. There's
correct.
other ones that are like, it's more idealistic of whoever the leader is, and like you said, that unquestioning obedience, of following the leader kind of mentality. Whereas the secret society, it's more like, let's come together. Yes, we have a ranking system, but that's only because you learned X amount of things, so forth and so on. And of course, I could be way off base here, but that has been my general gist of what I know about secret societies. But I also find it very oxymoronic that they are the ones that are usually more transparent when they are the quote unquote secret society. And it's really the only thing that's secret about that is their ranking system, some of the rituals that kind of go through that.
Yeah,
Um, Whereas the cults are, you know, it's exploited, but they're the ones like, don't look at us, like we're
yeah,
doing our thing. You know what I mean? It just feels kind of
exactly.
funny, oxymoronic,
It's
that
a,
the transparency comes out of the secret society.
yeah, it's a different type of secret at that point, and it's the reason I even looked this up, the reason the KKK is considered a secret society is only because they conceal rituals, members, and secretly worked outside the law. That last bit to me takes them out of secret society on its
Yeah,
own. When you're
right,
working outside the law, you're not concealing members, to be a secret. You're doing it to make sure nobody gets arrested because you're
right.
not doing shit right. Like,
Well, I think
there's
when getting away from cult to terrorist status, goes into like that dangerous towards, fellow man kind of thing.
exactly.
And that's where, again, I'm kind of with, your spouse. Like it should be considered, terrorist group.
Yeah. And I'm sure they are. Honestly, if we were to look up terrorist groups, I'm sure they're listed.
Yeah. But the true classification for them would just be a cult. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy to me.
So, but obviously, for all the listeners out there, like this isn't going to just be on groups like that. We're going to be talking about groups like Ordo Temple Orientis, Freemasons, Rosicrucians, the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, the Bilderberg Group, Knights Templar. Like this is just a handful of some of the people you're going to hear about this season.
So I'm really,
And
really excited about this Skull and Bones piece, because this is actually something I didn't even know about. Um,
you,
like
you
I'm
say
I'm
that a lot
surprised.
lately.
Like, well, so everybody, this is Josh sent me a text, and sorry, this is going to be very candid, everybody, and this will stay in the show. So Josh sent me a text and he says, "You really need to get the fuck out of your ghost box. There's a lot of cool shit happening in the world." And my first thought was, I understand, like there's a lot of people, that even people we've interviewed and made friends with, like Noel and yourself and Kat the Spooky Scholar, that you guys have this very supernatural, paranormal umbrella that you guys work under, but we still need those niche markets and experts in the field. And I'm not going to call myself an expert. I'm just going to say that my focus is definitely on paranormal and ghosts and that afterlife type of spectrum versus the cryptids, the secret societies, the weird shit. I do get in a lot of the woo woo stuff, not so much these past few years because I've been so focused on equipment and the technical side of things. But that does kind of fall into my wheelhouse. That will probably be a season for us. But to Josh's point, we need both people types of folks. We need those umbrella folks that kind of look at everything that does it all work together. And me is like, no, it's just ghosts. Like we need that contradiction to figure this shit out. Because I mean, neither one of us is right, neither one of us is wrong. And that's how I look at this until we actually dive into it even further. And Josh just keeps drinking every time I say that we might be wrong. So um, but that's the mentality I have behind this. I mean, I'm not going to say like I'm not interested in secret societies because I've read books on them. Josh mentioned the Rosicrucians. I was fascinated by them. We'll say probably a decade ago, and I read several books about them. I'm going to have to refresh my memory, but these weren't things that I found that were, I guess, pliable in the paranormal field and the direction we were going. To this day. But again, I can't wait to see like, and again, this skull and bones thing, I'm surprised because yeah, my nose is in the books of the ghosts. I didn't know about skull and bones, but I can't wait to dive in and see how we kind of banter about that because that to me, just the concept of it, of where it
Mhm.
is, just fascinated me. I'm like, really? Like that's badass. Like, how the hell did I miss this? So
Yeah, so we can totally start by mentioning, them and some of the stuff that we know about them already, because Skull and Bones, is for everybody that doesn't know, is the secret society at Yale University.
I love it. I fucking love it. Like
Yeah,
that is so cool.
and I'm like, when I researched and I blanket researched a bunch of shit so that we could talk briefly on some of the topics that we're going to be covering this season. And like, I kept getting lost in each one of these groups and adding more notes and adding more notes. And this is one of the
Yeah.
ones where I was like, I need to know more because they were founded in 1832, but they're like, this is the secret society that some of our presidents have been part of.
Right.
So
That's what I
some of the
saw.
members, some of the members that we know of are like George W. Bush, and his father. And I'm like, I was like, wait a minute. And this is a group that's come under enormous scrutiny, not only with, getting in trouble for only allowing in white males for a long period of time,
Yeah, I saw
but then
that
they
too.
were also hit again and they had to allow women in the 1990s, which isn't that far back. Like, we're talking like 30 years ago.
Right.
So, and like they've got some of the craziest like stuff because again, this is Yale University. And some of the conspiracy theories that have actually like gone beyond, in my mind, of a conspiracy theory, like is theft of human remains.
Yeah.
Like
That's what
supposedly they have the skull of Geronimo,
yeah, it's
which
wild. It's absolutely
they
wild.
acquired that in 1918 supposedly, but they've been sued by the descendants of Geronimo over this. Like, this isn't just a conspiracy theory at that point. Like, there's an actual court case that
Legal
took
document.
place.
Yeah, it's legal at that point. And I was going to
Yeah.
bring up conspiracies too because folks, when we're talking secret societies, we're some of these conspiracy theories are going to have to slip through.
Oh, yeah. They
Otherwise,
go hand in hand.
they wouldn't be fascinating. They really really wouldn't. And what's funny is Josh, I thought all I could think about all day was like, I'll be honest, I was doing the research and I was like, what if Josh and I started like an order? We're not necessarily a secret society because it's accessible. But what if we started an order like the Oddfellows order, that kind of mentality. I was like, what the hell would we actually be? So I had like some stupid names and I should have written them down and because they would have been great for the show. Like Order of the Paranormal People, like the OPP, like
Yeah, you know me.
Right? Like that would have been some stupid shit that I would have come up with. But that's all I kept thinking about all day was like, and that would get the city scoring system out there, and we teach
Oh
people
my
how to use
God.
it. Like it was a thought. But then I was like,
Or just have
you're
a
thinking cult leader right now, Nick. Like you need to calm down. Like go get a Pepsi and get some fresh air because you're starting a cult. And that's all I kept thinking in my brain all day as I was researching this. And guys, this is how it's going to go. Like, I know it's a little bit more loose than the Stories in the Cemetery podcast, but this is what it's going to be like. We're going to laugh, but this conspiracy theories, I've always been, I don't want to say like a buy-in or a shoe-in because I try not to dive in too much, but sometimes guys, like there's no way that it couldn't have happened that way, and especially at the time that we're recording this, you guys all know about Epstein and the bullshit that's going on there.
Mhm.
There's so many theories going on around that. But again, I look at actions more so than I do words or even the written words sometimes. So that might come into play when we're looking at the secret society actions. Like you just mentioned a lawsuit. To me, that's an action
Mm,
of them
true.
being sued. So conspiracy theories, like that's how I like to look at shit. It's the action, not the words.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm going to go off on tangents like this because I didn't
It's all right.
do the extensive research like you did. I'm still reading your
All,
notes.
all I'm thinking now is they meet in secret in their green jackets and they score all of your paranormal investigations.
I know,
Some
right?
of you will fail, and that's what's going to happen.
It's because you used cat balls.
Yeah, like we're just gonna have a group of people that just randomly like this group's gonna be like, oh my God, we did so good. We went to a great place that we've never been before that we paid so much money to get into. And there's just gonna be somebody who shows up in a green jacket and be like, well, your investigation sucked. You got a 12. And it's like ruin your entire night. Like,
Stop using cat balls.
right? The Society for Paranormal Researchers from SITSI.
That's funny. It's the Order of Paranormal People, OPP. We're sticking with it. I love it. Ah,
Oh, that's too funny.
let's go back to your notes. Otherwise, we're gonna make jokes through this whole damn episode.
Yeah, but
So
some of the more lighthearted things for Skull and Bones that I honestly found kind of cool is their building, their home of operations is called the Tomb, and it's a building with no windows. And this is in New Haven, Connecticut. You can visit this. They're called Bonemen or Bonesmen, and there is a bunch of like secret like activities that people kind of hear. One of my favorite was that when you are a new member, you're supposedly supposed to lay in a coffin and
oh
tell
yeah, I
your
did
own
read that.
secrets.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
like,
did hear that.
that's just like that's kind of cool. Like it's got a kind of a vampire-y vibe to it,
Dude,
and
I
I'm
got
like,
another
this.
sidebar. I have another sidebar. So when I was researching today and I was like deep diving into some of the links and stuff that you sent me, I came across and I don't know how this even showed up when you type in like cults and secret societies and that kind of shit. But I actually found Gray's School of Wizardry in New York.
No.
Yeah. So they actually I don't know if you've ever heard of this before. It's set up like Hogwarts. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
can
yeah. There's one in Scotland where you can
well, we
actually
have
pay to go to Hogwarts.
well, this is you pay to go to Gray's School of Wizardry. Like they have a tuition page, they have courses set up based off of what
Yeah.
level of wizard you are. They separate you into one of four houses. Like
Wow.
it's inspired by Hogwarts, but it is not Hogwarts because they actually have licensed professors there.
Oh
Like the
Lord.
website was extensive. Like you and I have talked about like going to get like the parapsychology degrees and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that could be kind of a legitimate degree depending on the school. But this was like, and they say right on the one page, this is not a game. This is not a fantasy. Like I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So
Wow.
Gray's School, and Gray is Grey. So in case anybody wants to Google that shit, it's funny. Um, but I told my wife about it, who is a Potterhead, like through and through. Like we have all the Lego
Hmm.
sets everywhere.
Yeah,
And she's just like, "Really? I can go to Hogwarts?" I'm like, "You have enough education. Like we are good. Like we do
yeah.
not need to send you."
That's
Like
like
so,
baller money right there. That's like I'm a bored like child of famous people, and I'm gonna go get a like I'm gonna go be a wizard for a while. Like that's a side quest in a rich person's life.
well, they actually had photos of like some of the students, and they were in their robes, like their dressing robes, and like yeah, it's a fucking thing. Like you
Oh
can go
my
to
god,
fucking fake Hogwarts in New York City. Like it was wild to me. I want to
that's
say it was in
crazy.
Whitehall, and they had pictures of the place. Like they're expanding. Like they must be doing pretty fucking well. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like it was kind of
Oh,
wild to me. I don't know. But if
who
it's a
knows?
secret society, like I want to know, like what are the secrets? Like, is it a chamber? Like, let's go.
It's a tomb of secrets. Okay, they can't use
uh,
chambers.
can't use.
Copywritten.
You can't. Don't say it. You can't say it. So, it's a secret.
Tomb of secrets.
So funny. But anyway, back to seriousness of all of the things that we need to discuss here.
Yeah.
Or-
So one thing I brought up in the email that I'm sure like you saw it in my file was versus religion.
Right.
So and this is something I just like I had to bring it up because when's the last time you were allowed to go to Rome and go through the records of the Vatican?
Never.
You know? Exactly. So does that not mean that they are concerned with keeping more specific details within their ranks secret? So does that make like Christianity as a whole a secret society?
Dude,
Because I
that's
mean, some
killer.
of these secret societies also worship different deities
Right.
or
Right.
different, like Ordo Temple Orientis. Most people will not know who the hell this is. Okay, and most people won't know anything about any of this because the original founder isn't who we know. The person we know from this group is Aleister Crowley.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's who took over after the original Carl Kellner and Theodore Roos's were the original founders, but he took over. Aleister Crowley took over after this all happened. You know, and that's who everybody knows, but they don't know the actual group he belonged to. They just said it was a cult
Right.
because they were an occult secret society and they worshipped other entities and deities. So there's religion in secret societies. So does that make some of our religions secret societies?
Well, I mean, we just mentioned like three major things here. So you mentioned obviously the Vatican as one thing, Christianity is another, and then just going into Aleister Crowley, which is a whole topic by itself. So going
Oh
back
yeah.
to the Vatican, I am a firm believer in the conspiracy theory that the Vatican is holding on to natural artifacts that it's kind of like Warehouse 13. If
Mhm.
if anybody listening or watching is familiar with this TV show, I mean it's a show where you protect the artifacts from our history that actually have certain elements and powers and things that can do different things than what we know of on this earth today, because we're preconditioned by all of the Christianity and religions and things like that, and they're now using the religion to mask it, and they're holding on to things more so than we ever would have imagined. But I mean, just look at all of the things that just what happened with the new pope. It's not like we can watch their voting process. We can't see what the conversation looks like or how the voting process is done. You're absolutely right. We can't see any of these things. And the question is why? Why is it not available? So
Exactly.
your question about Christianity masking over a lot of things, I feel like most, and this is my opinion, take it for what it is. Not a religious person, but there's a reason why. Is because I feel like it's almost a brainwashing type of mentality to keep that kind of faith towards something that is supposed to have power over you. It's one thing to believe in ghosts. It's another thing to believe in a ghost that controls what you do and what your fate looks like for the rest of your life. That
Yeah.
to me is a whole different realm. So, I mean, that I don't have the episode list in front of me to know like what this looks like right now. Um, I'm still following your notes as we kind of go through this, but I'm
Mhm.
sure that this religious piece like is going to strike a nerve with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Just because, I mean, we're speaking opinions, but some of my opinions I believe to be true. The same way any faith follower is going to believe that their faith to be true. And I understand that and I get it and it's respected. But also, my opinion in retrospect should also have that respect. So, guys, can't wait for
True.
that episode. That's going to be fucking amazing.
So now I
So,
can pull up the episode list, and honestly, I'm almost wondering if this list needs to get broader, because as of right now, like it's just not long enough in my eyes. Like there's so much to go on in this I don't know, this topic. So
and
I'm
I
like, I
feel
feel
like
like we're
with these
brushing it
episodes,
basically.
I don't want to rush it, and I feel like we talked about this earlier. They might be 90-minute to 2-hour episodes because we might tie, Christianity and this the Ordo Templi Orientis together to kind of make that full circle coming back. So that way we
Hmm.
can cover two topics with one episode.
Yeah.
We do. We're going to a weekly podcast for 2026 with the regular city podcast, but with this, it's going to be a monthly, and they could be 2-hour episodes, just to, appease the listener. And so that way we cover the topic in a very warm blanket and say, here you go. This is
Yeah.
our thoughts and opinions to put two thoughts together of what actually might be happening here. So it might be we rework it, but I don't think we
Hmm.
need more episodes. I think we need longer episodes. So,
Yeah.
folks, if you're obviously listening to this, leave comments. Let us know. Get a hold of us on socials. Like again, we got to evolve this according to what you want. I mean, we want to do this. We just want to do it right. So
True.
that's my opinion on it. So if you're not listening, then we're not doing it right. So you got to tell us. Does a 2-hour episode seem like too much? For an episode that you're going to be paying for through Patreon. Again, that's kind of how I like to look at things. So,
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I don't think that should be too much of an issue. A little more bang for their buck.
yeah,
At that point, we might be able to hit two groups in some episodes, because again, like you were saying, religion will come up. It's going
right.
to come up. I mean, one of our episodes is literally on a group that is a secret society that was created by the church, like completely created by the church, was basically part of the church and disappeared into history. And I mean, there's another one that was started because the church kept oppressing them. And this is
Let's hear it. Which
unfortunately
one was this?
something, so the Illuminati. The Illuminati was started because of oppression of religion. So, and I put that in the notes as well. But there was like Galileo. Galileo said, "Hey, I have evidence the sun is the center of the universe." And the church was like, "Look here, shut your mouth. You go home. You tell no one." Okay. Because we say the earth is the center of the universe. And he ended up being convicted and sentenced to house arrest because he defied the church. And he was right. The sun's the center of the universe,
Right,
not
right.
the earth. So, and that's where like the whole Illuminati came to be. And the Illuminati is by far one of the most controversial, one of the most like conspiracy theory filled secret societies to date.
It's also the most well known. I mean, there's a lot of theories that go into that with the dollar bill and
Oh yeah.
a lot of the symbolism that comes down with it. I'm gonna be honest, like the Illuminati, like when I dove into secret societies, before, it was about the Rosicrucians for me.
Hmm.
I found it fascinating because they were, and I think you put it in your notes here. Yeah, it was that they actually had ancient knowledge, and that to me, like, it goes back to like pyramid stuff and all
Hmm.
of the things that could be tied to that. But they have this knowledge that, and their history was fascinating when I read it. I remember reading it. It was
Hmm.
kind of a dry read the way it was written,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of really cool history once you pieced it together. And I was hoping to get more of that ancient knowledge type piece, but it was just hard to come by. But the
Yeah.
Illuminati never really did it for me. I mean, there were some cool things in there with the symbolism and how people like piece things together. Like, oh, if you look at this, it might be that. It's
Yeah.
that kind of piecing of the puzzle. But it was always the Rosicrucians for me.
Yeah. And honestly, at this point, that's the way it should be, because the Illuminati was nothing. They were, they got started May 1st, 1776 in Bavaria, which is now Germany. So it
Okay.
doesn't even exist anymore. And they were done by 1785. So
So
they barely survived 9 years.
so why all the hubbub about them? And we'll cover that in the episode. That's
Yeah.
a rhetorical question.
Oh yeah.
Because again, that's what everybody remembers. You say secret society, everybody says Illuminati. That's what it
Right.
is.
And they were nothing more than a group of intellectual people who wanted to be free to talk openly without the pressures of the church. The professor, Adam Weishaupt, former Jesuit, he was a professor of canon law. Now,
Okay.
canon law is the body that basically governs the Catholic Church and its members, the clergy, sacrament, their moral conduct. Like they basically make sure they don't break their own rules. So he had ties to the church, and he started the Illuminati to promote enlightened ideas and thinkers who opposed superstition and religious influences on science. Some believe that he even wanted to go as far as making a religion that was based on reason. But
Imagine that.
he had like, oh yeah, and he had like, there was a rigorous initiation. There was 13 degrees of initiation. But like I said, they didn't last very long. Now, the part that is hilarious is the Da Vinci Code book series obviously
Mhm.
used the Illuminati heavily.
Yeah, they did. Fantastic books, by the way.
I love the series.
Yeah.
Another series that pushed the Illuminati is there was an entire Marvel series of comics called the Illuminati.
Really?
Yes, there was an entire series of Marvel comics.
You're gonna hear me say it again. How come I didn't know about that?
So, and somehow, some way, like it has just continued to be this thing that people bring up that they're running the world in the background, and they've been, credited with the French Revolution all the way to the assassination of JFK. Like this is a group that pretty much died. They capped at 2,000 members. Some of them had power. Not all of them were powerful people. And somehow, some way, a group that lasted less than 9 years is credited with some of the biggest controversies of this world.
But the question to that, Josh, is why? Have they truly disseminated after 9 years, or are they still lingering around? Like, is there still that secret of secret society, like deep underground kind of shit that's still
Yeah.
happening? I mean, we're talking JFK, man. That's 300 years after the fact, or 200 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Why are they getting this kind of credit? Like that should be like, I can't wait for that episode because again,
Oh, yeah.
I hate to say like debunk a lot of it, but also raise some other deep questions that might not be being asked right now. And that's kind of like what you and I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and we're getting to way more detail about like what happened and why they only lasted that long because the Bavarian government got involved. So that tells you a little bit more information on what's going on with that.
So, I mean, folks, as you could see, and we already know, I'm going to break away for just a second here, just to kind of get back to like how this is going to be formatted for y'all. But we know that there's other podcasts out there on secret societies. We know that there are probably better researchers into this, very niche topic. But Josh and I are pretty well versed in how to research and research properly and like do the scientific method of thinking to put this together to see if we actually have any valid I guess viewpoints. So we hope that you find us entertaining enough to come over to Patreon and hear how we're going to go about doing this and separate it and maybe even marry a few topic to society, through these episodes. But again, we're hoping that you're going to be reaching out to us through socials and, even email at storiesinthecemetery@gmail.com. Going to Patreon and checking out the page. Josh and I are going to be dropping a few if we haven't already at this point. Josh, I'm not really sure when I'm going to launch this. I was thinking like
Hmm.
mid to late October, just to
That
kind
should
of like
work just fine.
yeah, I think that's gonna because I think we already have 5 episodes for that month. Let's throw in a sixth. Why the hell not?
Uh,
Just to let people know like what's coming up in January. So that's when these are going to launch. And Josh, I know we could probably go on, just blanket statements about how this is going to, who else are we going to be talking about, and all of the things. But I mean, dude, that's what the episodes are going to be for. We're going to dive into these each one individually.
yeah. So, and I look forward to it because there's a few that like I said, I have extra stuff that'll go into the episode with Freemasons because I've been inside the Freemason temples. Like I've seen what some of the rooms look like, what some of the symbology they have. Ordo Temli Orientis, the society that ended up under Aleister Crowley, like one of his biggest followers, Jack Parsons, he conducted all sorts of ceremonies and different things at a place called Devil's Gate Dam in Pasadena. I've been there. I've investigated that space. So, like, there's going to be a lot of really cool extra stuff that'll be put into some of these episodes.
Yeah, and we actually have a former Masonic lodge area that I used to investigate, um, here in Charleston. So that might be something that I dive deeper into the history of the land and maybe some of the members that were there, to see if I can find anything. Maybe talk to the people that are inside of that building now to see if they have any knowledge.
Mhm.
So, folks, there's definitely going to be some bonus content of some of the research we're doing. And again, we're hoping that you're going to jump on Patreon with us. We know you're probably listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or even on YouTube at this point. Now that we've finally figured out the freaking video portion of this, we're still working on some of the more higher def end of things, but hopefully that's going to improve as well. Um, Josh, what other like major points do we need to make about like what to expect out of Patreon or even another society that might come to light of something these folks would generally know about besides the Illuminati, Freemasons, that kind of thing?
It's, I think, just some of the fun ones that I found, just to give people a little bit of like a inkling, I guess, of what's going on. Like we've found some fun ones that'll probably take a backseat to something a little bit more important, but it'll be something we mentioned in some of the episodes because they're just fun. I mean, there's a United Ancient Orders of Druids.
Hmm.
Like I just want to take a look at that. Like that, it's probably nothing. It probably has little to nothing to do with anything important, but it sounded funny. The Order of Assassins. I mean, come on. How can we not talk
I know, right?
about something called the Order of Assassins?
Yeah.
It's probably nothing, but I had to.
I will
had to
talk about Assassin's
include it.
Creed for 2 hours. I am perfectly fine with doing that. Just so everybody knows, like I am good. Like that is my game of choice.
Yeah.
Um, But one thing I noticed you didn't have on here, and I'm not really sure that it's more of a secret society, but they did have like some underground stuff going on, was the Order of Longfellows. Or not Longfellows, but Oddfellows. Um,
Yes. So that is something that did come up on my like my radar. So, and the episode list I put together was just kind of a spitball of things that looked kind of interesting. So, I mean, some of these will get replaced as we continue to go on, as you and I talk
sure,
about them. Some of these will get redone. I mean, some of them I put in there just because there's a fun reference to them.
sure.
And it's like other ones like the Hellfire Club. There's so much to do with the Hellfire Club that is
Hmm.
not about the secret society, and it's about the paranormal activity.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, that's definitely
there's
relatable.
oh yeah, there's so much that we're gonna have a lot of fun with. Um, but there'll definitely be some changes. Like I'm already looking at it, and I'm like, we can clump that one to that one and make space for this one because, like,
The reason I bring up
there's
the
definitely
Oddfellows was because I did an investigation once where we actually found, we'll just call it what it is. It was a slave graveyard, and most of the headstones were broken.
oh
So
wow,
Carl and I actually started going through them, and they were kind of just laid off to the side. And I found
Mhm.
one that actually had some initials on there that Carl had picked up on, during his automatic writing before we even found it. We weren't even expecting, like, we were leaving the house that we were investigating, and it was just on the property. But anyway, I think it was LFT and that stands for something specific. It leaves me now, but it was on the headstone in a slave graveyard, and I made out the name, and I got like one of the dates because of the way it was, kind of sanded down. But I was able to actually find the death record of that particular person, and he was African American. So I mean, it made sense, but he had all of the symbols for the Order of the Odd Fellows all over his
Hmm.
headstone. So it just
Interesting.
kind of, yeah. So it just leads me to believe like there even some of the ones that were do-gooders, like the Oddfellows, that were just out to basically make, help their fellow man, and not hide anything, like be very transparent. Like they still had their secrets. So, just kind of, it's the only one that really just pops into my mind that I've stumbled across during a paranormal
Hmm.
investigation. But I was kind of like, oh, he didn't put the Oddfellows on there. Might be something like you said. We can clump together two of them because they are either a related or have the same gist of what we can marry that type of concept to, and kind of squeeze in one or two more. But yeah, we'll take a look at it together and kind of see where we're at. But Hellfire Club. I mean, the White Lotus. I like the Ancient Order of Druids. Like I'm interested in that as well.
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, folks, we know like there's other podcasts out there about this, and we're going to use them as references. Of course, we're going to listen to them, and we'll kind of let you know what we think of like their references and how they use things, and they'll be used as a reference for the episode, of
Hmm.
course. So we'll give them credit where credit's due. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited to actually start diving into non-paranormal podcasts and
Yeah.
start listening to some secret society shit. Like this is gonna be cool.
Yeah. And I tried to make it not only like an interesting list, of different places or different groups we could talk about, but I tried to make sure that they were scattered about on the map. Like
Nice.
White Lotus is, I believe it was Chinese.
Mm,
Um, Hellfire Club is in England. The Illuminati originated in Germany. So I tried to base these on things that are kind of all over the map so that we're not just talking about random things that happened in the US.
nice. Love it. All right, Josh. I think that wraps it up. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and read off our um the website for Patreon one more time. That's patreon.com/c/backslash stories in the cemetery. So again, I'm sure you could go to Patreon. I'm sure you're already members. Just type in stories in the cemetery, you'll find us. It's not that difficult. Very excited about this project, folks, but you're going to have to let us know some of the things you want to see. So this is going to, like I said, I'll probably launch this mid to late October. So happy Halloween. I'm sure you've been listening to the other episodes because I think we posted the Real Haunted Items episode, that really badass interview that you did with them in October as a bonus episode. So hopefully that's launched out by the time you guys hear this. But at this point, guys, these are going to continue to be ad free. I know it's under an hour, but I mean, we're just giving you a kind of the blanket ideas of what we're going to be throwing in your ear holes through Patreon. And you guys tell us, is 2 hours too long for an episode? Do we cover two? Do we marry a concept with a secret society, with conspiracy theory versus cult versus religion versus, you guys tell us? That's how the shit's going to go. We want you involved. And when you become an Order of Paranormal People, an OPP member. Shit, Josh, I got to make another T-shirt. Like seriously, the- like that's got to be a thing. Like our paranormally special from the Sitsi
There you go.
podcast.
There you go. It'll be a
So
ghost wearing a green jacket.
we can't do green jackets though. It's got to be a green vest because the green jacket's been taken, right? Because I don't want people
Yeah.
walking up with. It's got to be like the green fisherman's vest or something,
Green
um,
fisherman's vest and a cap.
and a cap, just like this. So
Yep. That's
anyway,
it.
folks,
That's the
that's all
outfit.
I got. I love it. Just if you see the OPP out, go the other way. They're looking for shit. Leave us some comments. We'll talk to you guys probably in the next couple of days because I'm going to have to launch this in a midweek, I'm sure. But anything else, Josh?
No, I think that's it. Everybody out there, just stay paranormally special.
No, we can't do paranormally special on the Secret Society
sorry.
podcast.
Sorry.
Are you
Stay
down with the OPP?
You know me.
You know me. Good night, everybody.